Let me ask you something real quick. What hurts more? Someone yelling at you, or someone you love suddenly ignoring you completely? At first, most people will say yelling, because it's direct, it's loud, it's obvious. But deep down, we all know silence is worse. Because when someone yells, at least you know where you stand. You can fight back, explain yourself, argue, defend. But silence? Silence gives you nothing. And when you get nothing, your mind starts to fill in the blanks. You start thinking, did I do something wrong? Are they angry? Do they even care about me anymore? Am I not enough? That's the real pain of silence, not the lack of words, but the storm it creates inside your head. Tell me honestly, have you ever sent someone a message, saw the seen sign, but no reply came? You keep checking your phone. Minutes turn into hours, hours into days. You even start rewriting the last text you sent in your head, wondering, was it too much? Did I sound needy? That sinking, restless feeling, that's the silent treatment in action. And let me be clear, the silent treatment isn't just someone being quiet. It's one of the darkest, most manipulative tricks in psychology. It's not about solving a problem, it's about controlling you. So let me ask you, if the person you love most suddenly stopped talking to you, no calls, no texts, no explanation, what would you do? Think carefully, because the way you answer that question might show if you're in control of your relationships or if someone else is silently controlling you. Here's what it's not. It's not someone taking a little space to cool down. It's not needing quiet to think. It's not stepping back to avoid saying something hurtful. That's healthy. That's normal. In fact, sometimes space is the best thing two people can give each other. But the silent treatment? That's different. It's not about peace, it's about power. Here's how it usually works. You say something they don't like. You ask a question. You try to fix things, and they give you nothing. No reply. No eye contact. Just cold silence. And the longer it lasts, the more desperate you feel. You start pacing the room. You check your phone over and over. You even apologize, even if you don't know what you did wrong. And that's the whole point, because the silent treatment isn't about solving a problem. It's about punishing you. It's about making you chase them, beg them, feel small. When someone gives you the silent treatment, who ends up doing all the thinking, all the overanalyzing, all the emotional work? It's you, not them. They sit back calmly while you torture yourself. That's why silence isn't always peace. Sometimes silence is punishment dressed up as space. Now here's the big question. Why does silence hurt more than yelling? Think about the last time you had a real argument. Maybe someone shouted at you. Maybe they called you names. It hurt, but at least you knew what they felt. You had something to hold on to. But silence? Silence leaves a black hole. Your brain hates black holes, so it fills them with guesses. And those guesses, they're brutal. You start telling yourself stories. They must hate me. They don't care anymore. They're probably done with me. And guess what? Science backs this up. Neuroscience shows that when we re-ignored, when we re-socially rejected, the same area of our brain lights up as when we feel physical pain. That's right. Being ignored literally hurts like being punched. That's why your chest feels heavy. That's why you can't sleep. That's why you keep replaying everything in your head. And manipulators, they know this. They don't need to scream, slam doors, or throw things. All they have to do is stay silent and let your own mind destroy you. That's why silence isn't empty. Silence is full of power. Let me bring this down to real life for a second. Have you ever been in this situation? You and your partner have a disagreement. It's not even that big. You expect to talk it out, but instead, they go quiet. You try to talk, but they just look at their phone. You ask what's wrong, they shrug. You apologize, they give you that blank, cold stare. The hours drag on. Suddenly, the fight isn't about the problem anymore. It's about their silence. Or maybe this happens at work. Your boss doesn't like something you did. Instead of telling you, they stop responding to your emails. You're left in the dark, panicking, wondering if you'll get fired, or with friends. You say one wrong thing in the group chat, and suddenly everyone goes quiet. Nobody explains, nobody clears it up, just silence. And what do? You overthink, you stress, you blame yourself. That's the trap. The silent treatment forces you to fight a battle inside your own head. And the longer you stay in that trap, the more power you hand over to the other person. So here's the truth. The silent treatment is never really about silence. It's about control. When someone ignores you on purpose, they're flipping the power dynamic. It's like they're saying, I decide when this ends. I decide when you're worth talking to again. And what happens? You chase them. You text them more. You apologize. Even if you're not wrong, you shrink yourself just to get them to look at you again. And that's exactly the point. The silent treatment turns you into the chaser, while they sit back in the chooser's seat. That's why so many toxic people love using it. It's free, it's simple, and it works, if you let it. Now let's look at the psychology. Why does the silent treatment affect us so deeply? Because humans are wired for connection. From the moment we're born, silence from the people we love feels like danger. A baby cries not just for food, but for attention. If the parent stays silent, the baby feels unsafe. That wiring never goes away. So when someone you care about goes silent, your nervous system sees it as a threat. Your heart races, your body tenses. You go into survival mode. And manipulators, they use that biology against you. They know silence pushes all your fear buttons at once. Rejection, abandonment, not being good enough. That's why the silent treatment works. Not because of the silence itself, but because of what it triggers inside you. Now the big question, how do you break free from the silent treatment? First, you have to recognize it. If someone needs space, they'll usually say, I need some time to cool down, let's talk later. That's not manipulation, that's healthy. But if someone just cuts you off, ignores you, and leaves you begging for attention, that's the silent treatment. Second, don't chase. The more you run after them, the more power you give away. Instead, step back. Respect yourself enough to say, if you want to talk, I'm here, but I won't play this game. Third, protect your mind. Remember, silence feels like pain because your brain is wired that way. But it's not proof that you're wrong, unworthy, or broken. It's just a tactic. And finally, set boundaries. If someone repeatedly uses the silent treatment on you, ask yourself, why am I tolerating this? Because love, respect, friendship, none of it should feel like punishment. So let's end with one question. What hurts more, loud anger or cold silence? By now, you know the answer. Silence cuts deeper. Because it's not about peace, it's about control. But here's the truth. Silence only controls you if you let it. The moment you recognize the game, the moment you stop chasing, that's when you take your power back. So the next time someone tries to punish you with silence, remember this. Your worth is not measured by their attention. Your value doesn't disappear just because they stop talking. And you don't need to beg for connection. You deserve it. If this message opened your eyes, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because silence may be powerful, but awareness is louder.